Welcome to Coach's Corner, everyone. Thanks for watching the show. I'm your host, Coach Tripp. Here on Coach's Corner, we try to inspire and educate the mind to think, the heart to feel, and the body to act. Coming up on the show, we got special guests, Ari and Cy Liberman. Hey, guys, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Paul.
Man, a father-son duo right here. Below is Ari Liberman. And Ari, we're going to start with you. You're the dad. Without you, Cy wouldn't be here. So we're starting with the old man. Talk about, did you grow up in Connecticut? Talk about your mom and your dad and your siblings.
I certainly will. I grew up in Trumbull, Connecticut. Primarily grew up with my father and stepmother and two younger siblings, father and sister, who still live down in Connecticut currently. I still have a ton of family down there. Went to Trumbull High School in Trumbull, Connecticut, played football, basketball and baseball, football for the legendary Jerry McDougal, who is still the winningest football coach in the state of Connecticut.
Wow.
Came to Syracuse University in 91 and never went back. Here I am.
My gosh, talk about your football coach. What kind of influence did he have, and what was he like?
Jerry was an old school guy. You hear that term all the time, but he really took care of his kids. He worked us hard. He pushed us to the brink, as I'm sure you can understand. Quick story about Jerry. We were one of his good friends was the Stratford High School football coach, and every year they would take us to the Army barracks for camp, and there were multiple schools there. And one night, he and his friend had gone out for some beverages, and when they came back upon us having a full-on pillow fight with the other school. And after they screamed at us and got us back into the barracks, he got everybody around nice and tight. And after he yelled at us for being out there when we weren't supposed to, he told us how proud he was that we all stuck together and beat them up. So great guy. Miss him all the time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What an influence he had. Did he have an influence on your coaching? Did you coach football?
I coached football at Henniger High School from 1995 to 2003 until I became the athletic director there. But yes, he certainly did. I loved being a part of the game, the structure, the discipline, the camaraderie that, football teaches you. It was a big part of the foundation for me.
Wow. Holy cow. I saw a little clip. You were talking about a characteristic that was important to you. And it's my, I think it was my engine too when I was walking on at Alabama. And you talked about perseverance. And, it's a critical characteristic to have. And I think, Ari, it was Calvin Coolidge, really, when you broach in this subject. I think it was him that said it best. He said, nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. He said, talent will not. He said, there's nothing more, common than unsuccessful men with talent. He said, genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. He said, education will not. This world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. Oh, man. And I thought that was interesting when I saw an interview you had that you talked about that characteristic and tried to, impart it in your students and your players.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the most important thing that we can have. Not only my students and players, I tried to emulate that with my kids, and obviously it shows. My father was always big on relationship building, and putting yourself in positions that could make you successful.
Mm-hmm.
But the basics and the foundation of being timely, working hard, and if things don't go perfect, which obviously we know in life they don't, you have to keep grinding, you have to keep persevering, you have to we have to have a goal of getting where we want to go and understanding that there are going to be roadblocks, but if you want to get there bad enough, you will.
Oh, that's well said, Ari. Well said. That's some of the advice I actually gave Oakley Keegan last week, the boy from Liverpool High School. I said, there's going to be, you've already been through some roadblocks, but there's going to be more ahead. You're a little bit behind on all that, so don't let it deter you, because persistence is omnipotent when it comes to that. Awesome. Cy, man, did you play multiple sports in high school too?
Yeah, man, I played anything just about I could growing up. As I got older, I kind of moved more into basketball and lacrosse. I did a little cross country throughout middle school too. I'm a big runner, so I liked that for a little bit. Stopped playing basketball in high school, picked up lacrosse, stick with that. Really stuck with my coach in lacrosse. He did a lot for me, and that was the team I wanted to be a part of. He made me a better man, a better leader, better lacrosse player. That's Chuck Wilbur, coached at OCC, right near Syracuse. Won 15 national championships at that level, 15 plus, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing coach, amazing guy. Really just grew me and my friends and teammates to the max. So yeah, sports were big for me.
Holy cow, folks, we're talking with Ari and Cy Liberman. Cy played lacrosse, that's right, at Bama. He went to Cicero North Syracuse High School in upstate New York. He is on his sophomore year.
You played lacrosse.
Yeah. How was Lax last year? I know you stepped away from it to concentrate on work and your studies. Do you still have a 4.0 GPA?
Yes, I still do. Working towards it again this semester. Almost done.
Buddy, have you ever thought about helping out the athletic department and tutoring? Oh, you have to be, I think, a professor now to help out and tutor.
No, actually, a couple of guys in my fraternity house help tutor, like Caden Proctor, you must know. Who else did he do? Tim Keenan, big D lineman from last year. So a bunch of my guys, they do help with that. I'm more helping the guys that I know that need help, guys that need just that guy to look over them. So that's what I try and do, help out my friends as much as possible that need it.
Yeah, your teammates and classmates and friends. Absolutely, exactly. Man. That's what's about that's what it's about. Sports is learning those life lessons. And if you're a great teammate, you're going to be a great employee, or maybe even a great manager and leader of men. But it's the same process. What's your major? Is it business?
It's STEM of business. I'm a finance major right now, with a real estate minor. I think I'm going to pursue real estate, and finance major is the best way to go.
Awesome. All right, talk about your year playing for Bama Lax last year.
Yeah, man, it was fun. A lot of travel. I didn't start at first. I was on the second line. Quickly moved up after a game or two. Coach saw I had some skill, and my play style is get everyone else involved. I had 60 plus assists my senior year in high school. That's third in New York State at the time. So really just get everyone else involved and make myself valuable by helping others. So yeah, that was my place on the field, and had a good year, solid year, best year Alabama lacrosse has had in a while, because there's a lot of things going on here. Not many people playing lacrosse. But yeah, man, it was fun. We traveled all across the country, went to huge schools like Ole Miss, South Carolina, pretty much any big SEC school you can think of. We either played or traveled to, and that was a really cool experience. And the bonding was definitely very tight. I still live with 3 of the guys that I played with last year. Those are my great friends. They will be my lifelong friends, no matter if I'm playing or not.
Yeah.
And yeah, the bonding was great. At the end of the day, it just wasn't for me for another year, but definitely a great experience. Don't regret it one bit.
How did you pick Alabama from upstate New York? Why did you visit the campus at all, or did you like the fraternities, or did you like the business school? It's a good business school.
Yeah, great. Honestly, my mom kind of pushed it on to me. If I'm being honest, she kind of told me to, give it a try, look at it. And then once you get here, you just fall in love. I always say that to everyone. Like, why did you choose? Like, once you visit and you see what it looks like, there's no going anywhere else.
Awesome. Ari, teaching and coaching, I believe they're very similar in nature. For example, when I taught drills, I would use explanation, demonstration, participation, correction, and repetition. Is it the same thing in the classroom? And I know Coach John Wooden, and I like to study the great coaches. I was blessed to play for two of them, but I like to study the great coaches and understand why they were successful. And I think high school coaches should do more of that instead of being antagonistic and doing. I was flabbergasted by that when I got into high school coaching. I couldn't understand why the other high school coaches didn't get along, didn't like each other. I always came from the school of Coach Ryan would go, he went to Texas and learned the wishbone from, Darrell Royal and Emery Ballard. I mean, all these coaches always helped each other. I couldn't understand it. And why is there friction among high school coaches to this day? Because I think you're on the board of the Section 3 football and basketball committee, right, Ari?
Yes, I've been the athletic director, rep for the Section 3 football and basketball committee for quite some time. It's something I don't take lightly. I think we're in a tough time right now, Paul, interscholastic athletics. The animosity is too much. And I think you make a great point about learning from each other. I think that as I mentioned earlier, the relationship building that you're able to do with kids, on your team or in your classroom obviously gets them to perform better, right? It's just not about being friends. It's about getting out of them what you think they can, right? And obviously you mentioned the teaching, teaching and coaching. I agree. The best teachers make great coaches. They break down skills. They break down the whole day. Not everybody on the field learns the same, right?
Right.
Like Cy picked up things very fast. He watched a lot of games while he grew up. And I think a lot of kids don't watch games. You have to watch to understand it. So I think, the teaching and the coaching and the camaraderie among coaches is something that's certainly missed. And I think, unfortunately, some of the social media has had a lot to do with that. It's had, it does great things for us, but it's had such a negative effect. One of my former superintendents used to say, you can say anything you want on there and you don't have to be right. And I think, if I made a negative comment about you, people are going to read it and they're going to think Coach Tripp is this when Coach Tripp is not, So I think it has a lot to do with it. Something I focus on with my coaches for sure is always taking care of the kids, number one, we'll get a parent that's unhappy, but if the kid is happy, that's what our focus has to be on.
Right. Absolutely. It's all about the kids. Exactly right. And when I coached, I told the kids this, and I would tell them almost every single week, hey, no disrespecting the other team because they're there for the same reason you are. So I don't ever want to see that. And I tell you, in 15 years of coaching, I can remember only 2 or 3 personal fouls on my position players. I can't speak for other coaches, but you got to talk to the kids about that kind of stuff and talk to the coaches. I ran a radio show. I had other coaches that I would coach against come on my radio show. They didn't mind. Nobody ever said anything. In some districts, they'll run you out of town for doing something like that.
I think it's a great point. I think you make a great point. I'm actually going to write that down. I think you make a great point about being very direct, about very intentional about talking to your kids about treating the other team with respect. I think some coaches don't do a good enough job with that. And that I've seen that right on the other side. It permeates. You take on the personality of the coach. So I think you make a great point.
Yeah. And, you can, it's not saying you can't use like little slights of disrespect that they did to you against them. I mean, I'm not, that was not above that. I mean, I tried to be a gracious loser because Coach Bryant learned from, Bud Wilkinson how to be a gracious loser. Coach Bryant was, probably the most competitive coach I have ever seen in my life. I've studied him. I've read books on him. And when he broke Bud Wilkinson's 31-game win streak, he was just beside himself when Bud walked in the locker room to congratulate him, the coaches, and the players for the game that they played. Coach Brian vowed that day he would never be a sore loser, and you know what? He never was. Now I couldn't keep up to his standard, but that's just a little bit. All right, Cy, did you start playing lacrosse because your older sister was playing, or did she start?
Honestly, no. You? I think she kind of followed me a little bit. I don't know.
Oh, she did. I
don't know. Maybe my dad knows a little bit more about who started when. I definitely started when I was pretty young.
Yeah, I was just kindergarten through second grade coach.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was honestly, Paul, it's interesting you bring that up. It was, as you know, lacrosse here, right? It's the hotbed. It was just as you got to be 4 or 5 years old, it was like, oh, CNS youth lacrosse, and it was like, okay, we're joining. And obviously they needed somebody or some people that could coach and work with kids. And one of my wife's cousins, whose size very close with their son, I think he was on the top end at second grade at the time. And Joe Semino, he was coaching, and they needed. So I pulled in, and Cy was a kindergartner, and off we went. And that was really how it went. And really kind of simultaneously, my daughter Mira started 3rd, 4th grade with the same group, the CNS Youth Lacrosse Program, which I became then a board member of the CNS Youth Lacrosse organization. And it just seemed like a great fit.
Oh, good for you, Ari, man. I salute you for doing that. My dad was a pioneer in Liverpool and youth sports. He started our youth football program with Pat Spafford. My dad started our youth basketball program, called it the community youth basketball program. And he was so involved, my dad was. And, I think that's really important today. When kids, when you get them in high school, they're pretty much formed from their parents. But I see it every day. I talk to Jeremiah Castile, this guy I learned how to play college cornerback from, an All-American in Alabama, and he's the pastor at the Alabama football team as we speak. And he was talking about the lack of proper how should I say, technique and form in youth football, because I'm a big believer in Paul Phrase's The Head Rush podcast, and we should start taking care of kids' brains more than we have in the past, because I have a lot of ex-teammates that have died from CTE and ALS, including Tim Green, the great All-American at Liverpool. So I have a problem with qualified youth football coaches in this country, and I see it right down the street from where I live. I'm flabbergasted by it. I'm appalled by it, and I think maybe we should all relook what we're doing in youth football.
Yeah, we're pretty close here with the Clay Panthers organization, the youth football organization, and we do have a Pop Warner night where we invite them out and we show them out at halftime, and really trying to build that bridge between the Pop Warner youth and Liverpool football, so we can get them in the summer and we can help those coaches with everything from the philosophy to obviously technique and structure, and making sure that, some of those youth coaches, they as you spoke about near you, they don't really know what they're doing, so getting professionals to hopefully help them to teach the kids to grow up the proper way.
And maybe that's how we do it. We do it by school district. Maybe that's how it can be done. Because I know it's a problem, and I think it should be addressed. Big Oak, Cy, do you have any advice for Oakley when he comes? Or I think Coach Sindoni's daughter is also going to Bama next year. So you got any advice for them?
Yeah, I guess they're both taking a different path, so it'd be a little bit different for each of them. For Oakley, man, he's a natural athlete, great football player. I saw him. I mean, even when he was younger, the kid was amazing. So for him, he's just got to work hard, put his head down, and just trust the system, in my opinion. And he'll turn out amazing. As for Sindoni's daughter, I think she's just got to try everything. There's something for everyone here, and all you have to do is just keep your head up and find it. Like, try everything. Don't be afraid to do this, do that. Dip your chip in different bowls, and just really find what you like here, and it'll come to you.
They're back on campus this weekend. They're there again this weekend. Or they were there yesterday. Coach Sindoni, Juliana. He's trying to get Juliana working with the football program, actually. So, yeah, we're super excited about it. Hey, Paul, I did pop up. I told you I went up and saw your plaque upstairs in the Hall of Fame. And why don't you tell Cy for a second about how, Cy, he was football, basketball, and golf.
Yeah.
Those were his three sports.
I did play lacrosse for 1 year in 8th grade, but I ran track my senior year, and played golf since I was a little kid. And my parents and my dad, we all played golf. But I played multiple sports as well. I actually started hockey in 6 or 7 years old, and I got my older brother involved, and he went on to play college hockey at RIT and be captain.
Yeah.
So I loved all the sports. I still do. I love all the sports. I'm a sports nut, and that's why I do it. But Liverpool, sorry, man, we were dominant in Liverpool, our football team. I think Oak doesn't even know the history of it. I think we scored 370 points and gave up 33 all year.
Wow.
Yeah, we had like 6 or 7 D1 guys on that team. And quite a few NFL players actually on that Liverpool team. And George was George was old school now, man. I mean, I coached here at Pensacola Catholic High School for 10 years, and George came and recruited a couple of our kids. And he'd come in, and the head coach would say, Coach O'Leary, Coach Tripp always talks about you and Coach Brian, but he's got more stories about you than Coach Brian. Oh, O'Leary thought that was the funniest thing. I want to give a shout out. We're having a reunion up at Paul Goulet's. If you anybody want to contact me, feel free. We're having a reunion of Coach. In a second. July 18th. Yeah, we're back. July 18th up at Paul Goulet's farm. Get in contact with me. George, I think George said he was coming up. And so all the guys, we're going to have a reunion, and hope everybody can show up because we're not getting any younger. Guys, man, I got a couple more questions for you. What's next for both of you? Ari, what do you got planned?
Oh, my goodness. That's a great question. Well, technically speaking, Paul, I could retire from public education in 1 year and 9 months. And as much as I've loved my time in this business, I've certainly got other things that, I'd like to do. I very much am into the artificial turf game and the safety of it. I visited the field turf manufacturer just north of Atlanta. And we're in the middle of putting in a big baseball and softball stadium project here at Liverpool. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty closely connected with that. I'm not 100% sure, but I've certainly got some feelers out there. I can't wait to I can't wait to get into the next chapter and follow my kids. Hopefully they stay in the South. But I'm very much facilities management, and I love that. I'm closely connected to Pete Sala up at Syracuse University as well. Mm-hmm. So something hopefully in that arena, keep me busy and keep my mind focused.
Yeah, I do never want to retire. I got that from the great Mark Merrow. As a matter of fact, Johnny B. Bad, I'm reading his book, From Bad to Good. You want to talk about one of my favorite humans on the planet Earth? It's Mark Merrow, Liverpool High School. That guy has saved thousands of lives, man. You have no idea how he's turned his life around, but I just want to give a shout out to him. He says, don't retire, don't ever retire. So I'm trying to take his advice. All right, Cy.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Don't Cy, what's next, buddy?
Yeah, I'll be finishing up. I'm about halfway through school, so I'm definitely not trying to rush that. I'll be honest there. It's awesome here. But over the next 2 years, really just grow my own personal brand and get ready to get in the workforce. I just got presented to by Matthews. It's a commercial real estate firm. Clay Matthews' brother actually owns the firm. I feel like you may have heard of that before.
Oh, I played with Clay Matthews' dad.
Exactly. He's the great family. They were telling stories all about the Matthews and everything that do. And I don't think I could. I wouldn't want to work for anyone else besides that, man. They have such a great culture, and I was just able to see that just through the presentation that I was given, and just a taste of their company. And I want all in, but that's a little bit for the future. Really, just work on myself over these next 2 years. Get ready to pursue a job, get an internship soon. I was doing an internship last year with TBT, the basketball tournament that goes around the country, hosting $1 million tournament. That was such a great experience. Hopefully do that again this year and, make some money, work, just do normal stuff.
Awesome.
Enjoy it while I can.
Awesome, buddy. Yeah, play golf. Yeah, you play some golf. Good. Then you guys come to Pensacola, we'll go play golf. How's that?
Awesome.
That's a good deal. I go up to T-Town once in a while. So, you guys got to drive down. It's only 4 hours.
Not bad at all.
Not bad. Not too bad. All right, guys. Thanks so much. I appreciate you guys being on. I'm a warrior. I'll always be a warrior. I'm writing a book called Walk On Warrior. And no, I'm not going to change the name. It's going to be
Heck no, you're not.
Don't change it.
All right, guys.
No.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Coach Tripp.
You too.
So long. Wow, Ari and Cy Liberman. That was a great interview. I want to thank those guys for taking the time. Thank you for watching Coach's Corner, and stay tuned for these important messages. Without these folks, this just wouldn't be possible. This is brought to you by Sandy Sansing Chevrolet, not just here in Pensacola, over in Foley and Milton as well. Have a great sports weekend, everybody. So long. Oh, here's Coach Ryan, and there's Coach Ryan's jersey from his last game. Forgot to show that. All right, guys. We'll see you later. So long.
When it comes to buying your next car, truck, or SUV, you need a team that puts you first. Here at the Sandy Sansing dealerships, we're proud to serve Pensacola and the Gulf Coast with the best selection, trusted service, and deals that work for your family. Just like great coaches build great teams, Sandy Sansing builds lasting relationships with every customer who walks through our doors. Because when it comes to finding your next vehicle, there's only one name to remember. Sandy Sansing can.
Are you riding around in a filthy vehicle? Dirty car no more. Visit Ronnie's Car Wash today to get it shining in no time. They have 3 convenient locations with another coming soon. The unlimited monthly wash packages start as low as $14.95 per month with free vacuums, multi-purpose spray and towels. Visit them in Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, and soon Crestview. Don't wait, wash today. Be sure to see Ronnie's Car Wash on Facebook to see the latest specials and discounts. You'll be riding and shining in no time.
75 years of service in high-tech today. It's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348. High-tech is a term often applied to advanced services and products in today's marketplace. And today, glass is much more than the simple painted brittle, see-through stuff we hit baseballs through when we were kids. Glass is now a product with unique flexibility in both performance and application. And Pensacola Glass Company is growing right along. That's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348.
Did you know there's a place where you can get good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates on your home and auto insurance? Yep, and that place is, ta-da, State Farm. Here's the deal. State Farm agent Will Rentschler is your go-to agent in Pensacola, Florida for the service you deserve at the price that you want. So stop shopping around. State Farm agent Will Rentschler has you covered. Call 850-433-4678 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Legal disclaimer, individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Arbitrium Consulting for all your fencing, landscaping, pressure washing, tree trimming needs. Call 850-483-0350 for your free estimates. Serving Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, Destin, Perdido, Gulf Shores, Foley, and the entire Gulf Coast. Arbitrium Consulting is owner-operated, fully licensed and insured. Call today, 850-483-0350, the official landscaper of Coach's Corner.